Liverpool dates back to the year 1207, when it was granted a charter by King John as a borough and port. It achieved city status in 1880. Its distinctive waterfront is famous throughout the world. It has two cathedrals, the largest Anglican cathedral in the world, having taken 74 years to construct from 1904 to 1978, and a Roman Catholic cathedral of modern design, which took only 5 years to build in the 1960s. Liverpool is essentially a great Victorian city, developed by entrepreneurs and civic-minded people. It has a vast number of listed buildings, with new ones of good design from the 1990s taking shape. Rodney Street, a street of doctors, is in one of 30 conservation areas. This could be Faulkner Street of a century ago, if only horse-drawn cabs were there instead of cars. Such a transformation does happen from time to time, as Liverpool has been host to many period dramas for the television and film industry. Faulkner Street, for example, was the setting for the TV production Secret Agent in the early 1990s. The Royal Liverpool Philharmonic Society has raised millions of pounds in order to refurbish the 1930s Art Deco Philharmonic Hall. St George's Hall, built in the form of a Greek temple in 1846, was designed by a 23-year-old architect, Harvey Lonsdale. It's the centrepiece of a large group of neoclassical buildings, which include a museum, a library and an art gallery, all dating from Victorian times. Liverpool is also proud of its more recent sculptures, like Epstein's Liverpool Resurgent on Lewis's building, and those that commemorate the Beatles era in the neighbourhood of the famous cavern. Albert Dock was built in the 1840s, the age of sail and small vessels. It was designed by Jesse Hartley, Liverpool's dock engineer. Both the Merseyside Maritime Museum and the Tate Gallery of the North are now housed in the old warehouses. Albert Dock is the largest Grade 1 listed building in the country and has been developed as both a place in which to live and as a tourist attraction. Its success is such that it's the second largest visitor attraction in the country, with 6 million people coming here every year. So much for the present. Let's travel back in time and look at some aspects of Liverpool life in the 20s and 30s, when the city was very different from what it is now. Our story begins at 10 to 9 on a morning in 1929, when ferries from Wirral disgorged their rush hour passengers. For many, their daily constitutional exercise was an anti-clockwise processional walk on the top deck of the ferry, effectively walking to Liverpool as the boat chugged across the Mersey. At this time, over 25 million journeys a year were made by the ferries as they plied between Liverpool and Rock Ferry, Birkenhead Woodside, Seacombe, Egremont and New Brighton. It's the final summer of the Eastern service. The origins of the Birkenhead ferry go back to the 13th century, when monks from the priory in Birkenhead were granted rights by the king to ferry travellers across the river. Some people worked in offices close to the pier head. Others continued their journeys by electric trams, which ran frequently in all directions from 3 terminal loops. The first electric tram ran in 1898 and the last in 1957. Now let's take a trip through